Hello, everyone. I hope this finds you well amidst this worsening situation we find ourselves in. I have a lot of students who either have contracted COVID or are in quarantine. So I hope that each one of you are well. I hope that each one of you are safe as much as possible. Enid schools just moved to virtual learning. So we'll kind of see. We'll play it by ear. We're coming down to the end. And because of everything that's going on, I'm not going to give you a whole lot this week. In fact, watching this video, reflecting on the content is going to be the sole requirement. I'm thinking about Saturday coming up, so we'll have our last Saturday together. So I want everybody to have a chance to demonstrate again. So we'll separate into our groups. And we'll do it a lot like we already have. So the same groups that we've already established relationships with. So hopefully, continue to develop rapport, continuing to nurture each other, and practice our skills simultaneously to that and get feedback. So we'll be doing another feedback form, so you can again get a chance to reflect on the process, reflect on your growth, reflect on where you're at as a counselor as you move into practicum. So that's what the next step is. As you think about practicum for next semester, if you're moving into practicum and that's on your plan of study, I would ask that you reach out to me via email, and I will forward a copy of the current practicum handbook that will help you get a kind of a leap into the spring on what you need to put together and what you need to start thinking about. So again, if you are going to take practicum in the spring, please reach out to me via email, and I will forward you a copy of the current practicum handbook. There may be a couple of changes before the spring, but I can give you the one that we've used this year, and that will help you. So that said, let's talk about this week. So if we're looking at the syllabus and considering what is on our agenda, you will see that I believe we're into either documentation. Oh, we're into documentation. Yeah, we were going to do planning for sessions. So let me go ahead and make up this planning for sessions, okay? With planning for sessions, the reason I included this is it's an important thing to keep in mind. And I want to, again, hopefully you'll remember this at some point in your career as you step out in the field. When you begin counseling, there are a lot of times where you are in a situation, let me forward this a few weeks ahead, I don't have anything this week. There are many times when you get out in the field and your week may look like something like this, where, and this is what mine looks like when I started, and maybe you get a break here, and then you go into the afternoon at 12:30. And so you may find yourself with sessions. And even when I worked in Meadow Lake Hospital, I found myself with clients stacked back to back like this. Some of you are already working in the field and you know a little bit about this. And so if you're coming into this, Monday, December the 7th, and your first 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, your first 6 hours of the day are inundated with clients, how are you going to prep for this? How are you going to be able to navigate this schedule? Because this could duplicate itself on Tuesday or Wednesday. Typically, I've seen clinicians block out a day so they get caught up on paperwork, and we'll go into paperwork in a at a different time. I may have you do some things with paperwork on Saturday to document your sessions. That may be useful. So you get a chance to getting to think about document, because I haven't done much with that. Let's do that. Let's make it part of your Saturday experience, but not right here. You've had 6 clients. You have 5 clients ready to go in your first 6 hours. So how are you going to discern this? And this is what I really struggled with when I first got in the field. By the time I got to client 3, my head was swimming. I had client 1 information, client 2 information, and here all of a sudden is client 3. How are you going to keep all of these things straight? And so I'm not trying to put too much pressure or anxiety on you, but I do want you to, have some forward thinking in this, because when I was thrown in, it was kind of haphazardly. Oh, I need to do this or I need to do that. And each one of you are very intelligent people, and I trust that you'll figure this out. But the way I managed this was something like this. So for client number 1, I'd put their name, and I do it just like this on a Word document. I would summarize what happened. So this would happen. I would put this together. If I had a Monday that looked like this, I'd put this together Sunday night. So I had this sheet ready to go with me into all of these first 5, 6 sessions. So I would put this sheet together to allow me to keep my thoughts straight, and also to work for goals with my clients, because it's easy to just fly by the seat of your pants when you've got all these clients. And what happens is when you don't come out and you don't plan for your sessions accordingly, you just go through the crisis du jour. You kind of focus on the crisis of the week, the COW, the cows, the crisis of the week, or the crisis du jour, the crisis of the day. You end up focusing on the cows and cods, and you don't necessarily get into more meaningful therapy. In other words, we may rely a lot on our micro skills, and I would say I'm guilty of that. When I first got in the field, just micro skilling the clients to death, where they're disclosing a lot of things, but I'm not necessarily making a lot of progress. So I may want to, like for instance, lay out client number 1 last week talked about relationship with mom and dad, anger responses. This week, ask. And so what I would do is I would either put down topics, or sometimes I would create specific questions and frame them and phrase them in certain ways where I would elicit the most meaningful information. This week, ask about what was your earliest experience, memory with your father's drinking. And so, what was your mother's response? And so I would lay these things out. And so I would, if there were vital pieces of information, because when I would do sessions, I would be in the moment with the client, listening very deeply to what was happening, and I wouldn't want to forget about other topics. Tell me about anger homework. How did you respond? And so I may even, if you wanted to, you could even number these, these questions to make sure that you hit all the necessary information. And so for client 2, I would do something similar. So last week, identified triggers for anxiety. Client identified she responded negatively to parental teacher criticism. Okay, and then so I might go through 3 different activities for her. practice deep breathing session. Assign relaxation journal exercise. Maybe it just kind of depends on your client. But what happens is, and I'll be honest from my own experience, is when you have 5 clients, and so I would put all 5 clients and these ideas on this one sheet of paper, and then I could come back and either pull this up on my computer, and either have it in the corner of my eye, or I could have it printed on a piece of paper and put it off to the side and check on each one of these clients. And also, this helps you with your notes. And so here's the trick. So as I would do these things in session, and I have all of my clients lined out, and these pre-planning, these session preparation, I had all these things laid out. What I would do is I'd go back into my Word document, client disclosed their earliest memory was father yelling and running and client running away and stepping a hot floor furnace, significantly injuring foot. So, and so you would then document, and when you are doing your notes digitally, what you can do is you can then cut and paste this out if you want to, and put it into your digital note, and then your note is done. And you'll have a few check boxes. It depends on the information system you're using. If you're doing counseling at an agency, but typically they have information systems that help you that are designed for counselors to go through their notes relatively quickly. But each narrative needs to be very distinct and specific to your client and your individual sessions. And so I would type in the response to these questions after my session. And so what I would do then, I might, would go 45, 50 minutes. For a full hour in Oklahoma Medicaid, you have to go 53 minutes to bill for a full hour in an outpatient session. So I would go 53 minutes with client number 1, use those 7 minutes to very quickly, you better be good at typing, to very quickly throw in some things about what happened in the session. And then I would look as the next person is coming in, I would update my mind, refresh my neurons as to what happened last week, and also have ideas for this session. And then I could come back and invite client number 2 in at 9 o'clock, do the same thing at the end of the hour when the client left, invite client number 3 in at 10 o'clock. And so you see that if you pre-plan, if you get your ideas down ahead of time, you can become very efficient and still stay on track with helping your clients. So I'm hopeful that that's useful. There was one other thing I wanted to follow up on, and I'm missing it now, but I'll stop the video here. If I think about the other thing that I was going to follow up on, I'll probably make another video. But unless a new counselor learns a system, it develops a system to kind of keep track of records, to pre-plan their day, to pre-plan their sessions, it can be very easy to become overwhelmed and burned out. And so by virtue of doing this, I'm trying to assist you in developing ways, and you can find, there are certainly other ways of doing this, but this one worked for me, and I used it with beginning counselors to help them develop a system to keep their head above water. As I said before, a lot of times clients or counselors would block off a day to get all their notes done. So anyway, I hope this is helpful. I hope this is useful. I hope this gets you thinking about the future a little bit. Again, I'm not trying to intimidate you, but I am trying to maybe plant seeds how to maintain and think ahead when you're in the field, so you stay on top of things and the field doesn't kind of wash over you. Because and also I'll tell you this, there were very few times, let me put this screen back up here. There were very few times that I can think about where all clients showed at the exact time, that the week went without glitch. That was those were very few and far between times. Most times you're going to have a client who's late, who's maybe your session ran long, maybe a client is unavailable, they're sick, there's a call in. So it doesn't all, even though I'm showing you, you're stacking your clients up like this is an ideal world. You can talk to anybody who's out there practicing, especially outpatient. There are no shows. And so there are other times where you can kind of space and put in times for you to reflect on the session, to put together ideas, to plan for your clients, to make sure you're doing them a just service. So anyway, needed to be mentioned. Nothing more to this week except for show up on Saturday. And if I think of what else I was going to talk to you about, I'll upload another video. So take care. Reach out to me if you need to talk this week. See ya.